welcome to this week's episode of Stream Squad. I'm Angela, and I'm joined, of course, by Dan.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another exciting week. Right? Just the two of us again, but we'll make it as exciting as possible.
Yeah, we're changing it up for you guys. We've got the
TV's on right now. There was a sweet video playing before, but I couldn't figure out how to get it to loop. If anyone knows how to do that, make a video loop in an iPad over Apple Air TV. Give us a comment and let us know, because I couldn't figure it out. But yeah, a lot of cool stuff going on, right?
Yeah. So to kick things off, Facebook has released another new app. So this one's called the Facebook Kids Messenger app. And what this is for is, a lot of kids do want to be able to use Facebook, especially to communicate with family or with friends, just like they see other people doing. The problem is, for a Facebook account, you have to be 13 years old or older. And so a lot of kids would either have to make an account with a fake year, or the parent would make them an account with a fake year. The actual kid profile that parents can put on their page wasn't allowed to do any kind of messaging. So Facebook's realized this is a problem, but they want to keep the safety of kids in mind. So they've created their own Facebook messaging app. What parents are able to do is to sign in, and then they're able to make profiles for their kids. So the kid can't make it, the parent has to make it from their account. After that, they can choose who to add for their kid to be able to message. So it can be, another child across the road, it can be a grandmother, anything like that. But it keeps kids from randomly, adding different people, and the parent has to put in their password to confirm any friend request. So it's a way that kids can be able to use Messenger. They've got some of the effects with, the overlays like you would see on Facebook stories with the dog filters and stuff. So it lets kids still have a lot of fun, but it keeps them away from, meeting all kinds of people they shouldn't on the internet at a young age.
And it also gets them, I think, from
Prime
Facebook's
for
place,
Facebook,
prime for Facebook, ready, kind of gets them used to not just using their interface, but good practices on the internet as well, like you said, so they're not running into some of these issues that that happen on the internet sometimes, unfortunately.
Yeah, Facebook said that as of right now, when a kid does turn 13, it doesn't roll over from the kids' messaging app to the real Facebook platform. But I feel like if, this sticks around for a while and it does well, that's probably an integration that Facebook will go ahead and just put into place at some point. So definitely interesting to see where things go from there.
Yeah, I just threw that article up in the comments so y'all can check it out there. And Paul with the shout out saying there's an awesome app called Looper that'll loop videos. I'm gonna have to check that out for
thanks, Paul.
Yeah, before next one. If there's a video looping up here, it's because of Paul down there.
So other news from Facebook. Facebook a few months ago announced their policy on ads, and that they were only going to do mid-video ads. It wasn't what they were looking for at that time to do pre-video ads. But with the release of Facebook Watch over the summer, now Facebook is starting to roll out pre-video ads, similar to how, YouTube's had it set up for a while. So when you start watching a video, especially a sponsored video, you might see just a short little commercial at the start, and then it'll get into your main content. Of course, from there, people streaming live have the option, if they meet criteria, like being over 2,000 likes and having a certain amount of viewers, where they can choose to add more, commercial ads throughout their broadcast. But Facebook's going to go ahead and lock in that default pre-recorded ad to a lot of videos coming up. To me, I'm used to the way things are on YouTube and stuff, so it's not really a problem for me, but I know some people are a little upset that the ads are going to be coming on.
It's kind of interesting when you think about it. I know Facebook at first, when they were kind of launching the ads, it was in the middle, and I guess the thought process there is, if you're watching this video and you watch it to the halfway point, you're probably invested in it, you want to see how it ends or whatever, so you're willing to watch an ad. That almost wasn't ever the case with me, where I'm immediately, as soon as an ad popped up, I'm like, I saw enough of that, I'm swiping to the next thing. So I'm the same way, a 15-second ad in the beginning is a 15-second ad at the beginning. it'll be interesting to see how it plays out down the road if they're going to do it, for live videos as well as just pre-recorded, because I know with live videos you want to get into the action right off the bat because you don't want to miss anything. So.
And also to see kind of how they do the lengths of ads. Like I know with YouTube, some pre-video ads are 5 seconds long. Some will be 2 to 3 minutes long, but they have that option to skip after 5 to 10 seconds. So, I haven't seen where there's any kind of median of how long these ads are going to be, but it's also going to be interesting to see how long Facebook makes them and if there is a skip option for longer ads, or if maybe the ad's something to do with the video that might keep people interested. So definitely something we'll have to keep an eye out for and see what's to come for it.
Yeah, for sure.
And then 2 other things that we just want to touch over really quick that have been big in video and live video over the past week. One happened on Twitch over this weekend. So
this is just a crazy story.
Yeah.
This is hysterical.
So there's...
Post the link for everybody.
Yeah, this one you've got to check out. So there's been, for years, people try to stream pay-per-view events on Twitch or Periscope or YouTube or Facebook, and a lot of times it's, really difficult for people to find these videos, take them down, and keep people from just watching this big event for free. And it's normally very easy to do that because all of the screens would look the same. So I thought I wrote his name down, but I didn't. There was a Twitch streamer on Sunday, and what he did was he put on his Twitch gaming overlay, he put in himself, just chroma keying out his background, and he was holding a controller in his hand, and he streamed this pay-per-view event with the title, UFC 3 has some stellar graphics. So he was able to game the system and be able to stream this event fully. He got about 4,000 followers for it. But unfortunately, Twitch has been striking down a lot of stuff on his channel, of course, for bending the rules. So definitely a crazy thing to see.
Don't do that.
But don't do that, or it's going to ruin your channel.
It's just an interesting, we talk about copyright here all the time. I think we're going to maybe mention kind of music a little bit later, and sometimes copyright comes into that, and the hoops people jump through to do stuff. I mean, this is a brand new one. I hadn't seen this before, so I thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah, it took a few days for pay-per-view, UFC, and Twitch to even figure out what to do, because it's something that's, if it's been done before, no one really heard about it. And so now they're updating, terms of service and ways to catch that, to make sure there aren't a bunch of copycats in the future who try pulling off the same stunt. So to the one streamer, you've made history for doing that, but definitely do not try that. That's not going to go well. They're watching for it now. And the last thing today, anyone watching from Finland might have noticed last week that they had a hard time finding certain music and music videos on YouTube. And what happened was YouTube and a company called Tiesto, who's a big music kind of managing station in Finland, they were trying to get an arrangement together for payment for the artists. They couldn't agree, they couldn't really compromise, and what ended up happening is the deadline hit, and overnight YouTube pulled a ton of music off of their site from anyone on Tiesto's company. The problem is viewers weren't warned that this was going to happen, and the music artists weren't warned this was going to happen. So a lot of panic ensued. Luckily, it was only down for a few hours. They did reach an agreement, and everything's back to normal. But if anyone was noticing a lot of their favorite music was missing last week, it's back up now, but that's what had happened. Just unfortunately, that agreement couldn't be reached in time, and a lot of videos dropped off for a bit after that.
Yeah, it's kind of, just one day waking up and be like, oh, your videos are gone, or not making money anymore, or whatever. I've heard the same thing where people have been trying to stream. I don't want to go down the copyright hole too much right now or anything, but, where a musician is streaming a live event or something, and they get a flag from their own record label or whatever, being like, hey, you're using our copyrighted music. So, some kind of cool, interesting things there.
for the fun of our industry news.
Industry news. Shall we move on to our next little segment here?
Sure. So we're going to get into strategy. And one thing that we've been noticing here in the office, I'm not sure if any of you guys watching have noticed this as well, a lot of the scrobbling is being very finicky on mobile devices right now. And what that means is normally you can click on a video on really any platform and you can drag with your finger on your screen to get the video to go where you want it to. 15 minutes in, an hour in, it doesn't really matter, and you can start watching from there. If this is something that continues to be a problem, every video is going to have to start from the 0 mark and go all the way through. And so that got us thinking, when people do live video, there's going to need to be a big focus on what that video looks like played back, because it's no longer that live experience. People aren't commenting in. So how is that video going to function when someone's watching it later that day or a year from then?
Yeah, it's one of those things you don't really think about when you're going live. You're talking to the people who are watching you right now, but a lot of times there is that replay value, and I think sometimes that gets overlooked. And another thing I think people do a lot is they'll start their broadcast early and just have like a broadcast will begin shortly message up. We have one here that we'll use sometimes, this one right here. But so let's say I want to test my stream. I go live 5 minutes early. I say broadcast will begin in 5 minutes or whatever. If that scrub button's gone, you're going to be stuck watching 5 minutes of nothing before you get into it. So I guess we kind of want to touch on a couple different things that you can do to manage that a little bit better, or ways that things that we do to kind of avoid that downtime right in the beginning. One thing you can do is schedule your broadcast as this one was scheduled. The benefit of that is you can hit record and broadcast in Switcher like we are right now. And even though we're 5 minutes beforehand, that broadcast doesn't start until 2. So it gives you a countdown on the back end and everything, so you don't have to really worry about it. You know exactly when you're going live. And yeah, it's just there. It's easy, ready to go. So that's one thing I would recommend. The other thing, I don't know, I guess just kind of get into it. That's something we've talked about here as well, where instead of kind of being like, all right, well, I'm just going to wait for people to join, you can start it, and then you can reiterate as you're going along the things you're going to be talking about in your broadcast or whatever. Again, you don't want to lose those people who are watching afterwards.
Yeah. And one person who does, a really good example of thinking about the replay value of his videos and putting that across in his live videos is Joel Comm, who will actually be on our show with us next week.
Yeah, so that's kind of a teaser to next week. Joel Comm is coming on, but he does a great job of, he's a live video marketer, or video marketing, that's what he does, and he does a really good job with it. But yeah, we'll have him on to kind of talk about some of his practices and whatnot next week, but I definitely recommend checking him out if you want to see some of these things in action, and kind of the not waiting, keeping it live and engaging your viewers now, but still being able to engage, well, not so much engage, but not forget about the people who are watching afterwards. So yeah, I'd love to hear from you all too, if you all have some practices that you do before you go live, if it's like a checklist, things to check before you go live, or what your process is for going live immediately, I guess, instead of having the broadcast begin shortly up for a long time or something like that. Because if this scrubbing is going away, it's going to be a big change, I think.
Yeah, especially because I know if you're doing something like that on YouTube or Twitch or another service, and you've got the broadcast will begin shortly, pretty much any platform while you're live with that up, you can type in the comments, we'll get started in 5 minutes or 10 minutes. So your viewers know, hey, I can go grab a snack and come back, when you're doing the replay, a lot of these, Facebook will keep your comments, but a lot of these other platforms will not keep the comment thread. So there's no way for your viewer to know, okay, it's going to be 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. They're just stuck waiting and hoping it'll change eventually. And that can be a big danger to having someone click off because they're tired of waiting and don't know, there's only 30 seconds more or a minute more or something like that.
Yeah, I think I've gone over this before, but I can go over it again really quickly. Just our kind of method of when we go live. So it really doesn't change too much if we're scheduled it or if it's immediately live. But what I do here is I'll have our logo up, I'll have our audio muted in Switcher, and then if it's a countdown, so if I have it's scheduled, I'll wait for the timer to hit 0, and then I'll usually play our video, our Switcher Studio countdown, the 30-second countdown. Do that. If it's not scheduled, then I'm just starting on the logo, giving it a couple seconds, and then going straight into it, so no one's not watching that for too long. As soon as the video's over, another thing that we do is I have about 15 seconds of just our logo up there, hashtag Stream Squad up. And what that's good for is if you're not ready or completely on the draw, you have that little buffer to go live with it. So I recommend doing that, and of course you can cut off that at any time you need to. So what I do is as soon as the video's done, I tell Angela the mics are hot, I unmute the mics, and then as soon as she starts talking, I cut to the first angle. And then we're live, and we try and get right into it and go from there.
Yeah, which works really well. I know a lot of times, especially some of the beginning live videos, there's the moment where, someone's just staring at the camera saying, are we live? Can I go? And, with mics are hot, it's easy. The way, Dan kind of tells people how to do it is he'll say mics are hot, and then you take a breath and you start talking. And that breath is all that's needed for him to hit the mute button to get the sound back going, and you're able just to jump right in. You're live, your sound's good, and you don't have that awkward, hey, is this thing on moment.
Awesome. All right, I think we should probably at this point move on to some user group happenings, and we always try and take some questions that we get there. Angela, I'm going to let you talk. I know you've been getting this question a lot lately, so I'm going to go ahead and let you talk a little bit about that. And if you want to plug the user group a little bit, that'd be great as well.
Sure. So our user group is called Switcher Studio Enthusiasts. It's right now over 1,200 people, so thank you guys so much for jumping in on that. But it's a great active community where people are constantly sharing tips and tricks and strategies, their own videos, and they're asking questions. All of the Switcher team is in this group. Everyone's there to help you out, take a look at what you're doing. But each week we like to take, a few questions that we see a lot on inside the user group and just let you guys know what those are and how to answer them. So a big one that we've been seeing lately is how to get music onto your stream. So, obviously it's easy to get a mic running or something like that. A lot of people just use the internal microphone on their iPad or iPhone, but if you've got an MP3 file, what can be done with that? So, unfortunately there's not a way to insert an MP3 file by itself into Switcher, but there are two methods that you can use. One very creative actually that I've seen recently, but two that you can use to get that file in. One thing I've seen people do is use almost like an animated logo, and what they're doing is they're creating basically a video that's looping over and over again. They're putting music behind it at the start, and they're uploading that into Switcher. What happens is as soon as they start that video playing, the audio track is going to play as well. And they just use picture-in-picture, tuck it in a corner, and that's a really creative way that I've seen in about the past 2 weeks that people are doing that. The more typical way, the kind of easier way without doing, the video production work, is to use an audio mixer. You're able to feed a line in from your MP3 device or your computer, anything like that, into your mixer. At the same time, you can plug your microphones or any other audio equipment you need into the mixer. And then from there, all you have to do is run an XLR cable into an iRig Pre, which I'm not sure if they can see on the table.
You know, I've got a picture here. I can throw up
Yeah,
our iRig here.
yeah, we'll
That's
do the
that's what the
picture.
iRig looks like.
The iRig Pre is our friend. It'll be your friend as well. And once you've got that connected, you just plug it in to your main device. What that's going to do is disable the internal microphone on the device, and instead you're going to get audio from that mixer. So you're able to start playing your audio MP3 when you want. You're able to stop it when you want. You've got those volume controls, and you've got multiple mic sources if you want. So, you know, definitely I would recommend going with the mixer route. It's the easiest way to get started. We've got some instructional guides online that can help you out with that, but that way if you want background music or intro music or anything like that, you're able to easily put that in without a lot of work on the back end.
Yeah. And as always, I think we should probably, again, I don't want to get too down the copyright hole, but make sure you have the rights to that music. Even if you have the rights, sometimes if it's, you know, a popular song or something, YouTube or Facebook's still going to flag it, so just be careful with playing that music. Make sure it's original, and you have the rights to use that content.
Yeah, what I always recommend is if it's something that's copywritten, no matter who you are, just try not to use it. Go to one of the copyright-free, royalty-free sites. There's a lot online. A lot of them are free to get the songs as well, and those are things that aren't going to be flagged. I've even seen Dan mentioned earlier people getting flagged with their own music. I've seen a lot of artists where one of their songs will start playing and they have to just mute their whole broadcast to keep it from killing the broadcast until it's done. So, or if you're streaming to YouTube, I'm not sure how it works for their live video, but for uploaded video, you're able to submit, any documents you have that say, I have the rights to this, and they'll let you use it. Facebook right now does not have that intact. So if they detect your music, that stream is going to be taken down. So make sure what you are putting through from an MP3 is something you've made on your own, maybe in GarageBand or something, or a royalty-free song that you have downloaded or purchased that isn't going to, hurt your stream.
Yeah. Anthony even said not every track is licensed for all uses, which is also very true. So if there's a doubt, use one of those resources that Andrew mentioned. I think it's probably your best bet.
Yeah.
Awesome. I'm pretty excited about our Made with Switcher.
I am too. So just kind of to let you guys know what we're doing. We mentioned the user group earlier and how people share videos there. Another way that you can share your video and that we'll be able to see it is by using the hashtag #MadeWithSwitcher. So if you're putting a video up on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, anything like that, use the hashtag. We do go through all those videos and we do showcase one user video each week. So this is a video that was actually an 8-hour stream total. There were 2 different parts to it, but it's by an artist named Jared J. Krzoska. And actually managed to say that right.
Hey, all right.
But he did an 8-hour sketchathon for art education to raise money for art education for youths. And, amazing quality, amazing job. As soon as we reached out to him, he got back with us and he was great to talk to. I think some of his video might be playing right now.
Yeah, I've got it up there. It's awesome in a couple different ways. Like, one, it's cool what he's trying to show for everybody. It's a good cause, I think. And the fact that he was able to go for 8 hours straight, I think there's something to be said for that too. I'm just kind of playing around, showing you he was drawing. He had other shots where it's just him talking about stuff. So yeah, really, really cool, awesome video.
Yeah, definitely, check out Jared's work. We'll leave a link to that video in there. He is a writer and an artist, so he's got a lot of children's books. Some of the sketches he did show some of the figures from those books. Also on the link to the video, he does still have the scholarship fund available as a link. It's the Joseph and Shirley Memorial Youth Scholarship Fund. So if you guys want to, you can still donate toward arts education for youth by clicking on his scholarship link.
Yeah. Awesome. I think that might be all the time we have for today.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. Again, make sure to search Switcher Studio Enthusiast on Facebook. You can also click on groups on our Switcher Studio page and it'll take you there. Fill out a short survey, we'll get you into the group, and you're able to immediately start enjoying that community. And of course, we'll be back next week at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific.
Yeah, definitely make sure to come in and check that one out. We'll have Nick will definitely be back for that one. We'll have Joel. We'll have a kind of a back and forth discussion with them about live video tactics and whatnot. So that's definitely one to check out. And we'll have your normal scheduled programming as well with us and whoever else we can get on. So yeah.
Action-packed show.
Yeah. We'll see you next week. Thank you everyone for tuning in.
Bye guys.